part of the country, if you don't have dirt under your fingernails, you must be a tourist. Hard work is a way of life in Texas, a perfect fit for NASCAR's Blue Collar Series. But with 4 drivers vying for the hardware, who will be the lone star? 2 weeks ago, this area was rabid with baseball fever when the Texas Rangers came 1 out away from winning Major League Baseball's World Championship. Now the attention turns from the diamond to the oval as NASCAR's championship hits the home stretch. The setup, presented by Polaris, is on. And the trucks are the leadoff batter. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the setup. I'm Krista Voda. It is a triple header weekend. All 3 series in town. Nationwide Series qualifying just wrapping up. The championship battle is thick across the board. But for the Truck Series, time is running out. Just this race and the season finale remain. And talk about building the suspense. Austin Dillon, our points leader, qualified on the outside of the front row, meaning only one driver was better. And it's the driver chasing him in the points, James Buescher. Last week, Buescher was only 3 points behind Dillon, but NASCAR's smallest track dealt out some major blows. Here's a look back.
Last week, the trucks entered Martinsville with just 16 points separating the top 4 drivers on the road to the championship.
This racetrack is so tough, so small, so tight. You get a lot of beating and banging. You get a lot of tempers flaring.
200 laps from Martinsville Speedway. Green flag in the air. We're underway.
The last 2 Martinsville winners, Ron Hornaday and Johnny Sauter, knew that they would need to take an early lead if they were going to gain some ground on points leader, Austin Dillon. But getting the lead and holding it would prove to be challenging.
Johnny Sauter, he's applying all kinds of pressure to Hornaday. Here comes Hornaday for the lead. Challenge for the lead now. Here comes Johnny Sauter in the inside on Hornaday.
Hornaday takes the top spot away from Johnny Sauter now, so Hornaday out in front. Coming in, Hornaday was 4th in the point standings. Right now, as they're running on the track, he's 3rd, just 2 points behind Austin Dillon.
Dillon wouldn't be left out, though, quickly moving up and passing Kevin Harvick to take the lead on lap 141.
Here's our point leader, Austin Dillon, as high as he's been this entire race there, moving up in the 2nd spot.
Point leader, now the race leader, once again, is Austin Dillon. Gets by Kevin Harvick.
With 15 laps to go, Cup Series regular Denny Hamlin decided it was time to move up and take advantage of a bad restart.
Hornaday didn't get as good a start this time. Austin's going to clear him down into turn 1. And then he's going to be on the inside, too. He's not going to give Hornaday room on the inside. How about Denny Hamlin on the inside?
Way up the racetrack goes Austin Dillon, and Denny Hamlin takes advantage. He goes to the front. Denny Hamlin's previous best in the Camping World Truck Series was 3rd in Atlanta back in 2008. He wants to join the fraternity of drivers that have won in all 3 series. He will win at Martinsville.
Checker flag. Great job, Denny. Awesome truck, guys. Thank you so much, man, for giving me my first win. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So with just 2 races to go, the points shaping up like this. Now, Timothy Peters is still fighting for the title, but he is off of this graphic because he is 48 points back. It's shaping up to be a 4-horse race. Sauter and Hornaday are now tied at 15 points back. Austin Dillon did stretch out his lead, but now he has even more challengers, including James Buescher, who's with Ray.
Well, 2nd career pole was a big deal for James Buescher, but I'm going to play the racing fairy here, and I'm going to give you one wish. You can either get a win tonight at your home track in Texas or the championship. Which do you pick?
I'd probably take the championship. We got a lot more races. There's more races than there's championships, so those are fewer and far between, but, hopefully we can have both. I think we have a fast enough truck to maybe pull off both. The XI battery Chevy's been fast all weekend from the time we unloaded. We really didn't make very many changes in practice, and it was obviously fast in qualifying, starting on the pole tonight. So looking forward to tonight's race, and move on Homestead after this one and, try to go get the championship too.
All right, we wish you good luck. That is James Busher, 11 points out behind Austin Dillon. Now let's check in with my broadcast partner. Here's Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, Ray. And the points leader is Austin Dillon, a whopping 11-point lead heading in here to Texas. But you guys start side by side tonight. How important it is for you to be able to race the guy you're racing for the championship right from the drop of the green flag?
Oh, it's great. Coming into this race, we brought a truck here that we really race well with, and it's not a great qualifying truck. And to start second, it was a great job for these guys to come here, and they knocked some drag out of the truck before we got here, so it was nice. And I feel really excited about tonight. Really worked all day yesterday on just getting our truck to drive good in traffic. We took our teammates out there and ran together, and very excited tonight. I feel like Texas is a place that I want to win at. I've had some chances too and haven't been able to get it done, so tonight's the night.
Well, that's Austin Dillon. He starts P2. He is your championship leader. And number 3 fans, a big announcement today in the media center here at Texas Motor Speedway. The number 3 will be back on the racetrack next year in the NASCAR Nationwide Series with Austin Dillon behind the wheel. A lot of excited people to see that. Krista?
Absolutely, Hermie, a popular number, and a lot of folks very excited to see that number 3 nationwide car for next year. But back here in the Truck Series, not only did Martinsville last week tighten up our championship battle, it also provided a backdrop for some tangles, one in particular between teammates. Take a look.
They were side by side on pit road and actually traded a little paint coming off of pit road. Not too happy, those teammates, the 9 and the 5.
Max is crowding him a little bit. Remember, there are trucks on the inside of Todd pitting.
Rubbing all over down the side of the truck on pit road, pinching me. So I'm going to hit the guys that are pitting under inside.
Tempers really flaring here to bring out the 6th caution. It was teammates that caused this caution.
They race for 4th and 5th. Half a spun, half the length of the back straightaway.
Max tries to brake check Todd. There is no other way that truck would just spin around like that on the straightaway. Levy was slowing down to say, get off of me, Todd.
This is the most ridiculous thing I've seen in my career. And that shows the truth of the person. I'm pissed, and now you're going to see what Max Pappas is pissed.
There's a contact between Timothy and Brendan with 2 to go.
Little bump to the back of that 62, gets it a little bit out of shape and
moves it up out of the way. But Brendan had Timothy squeezed all the way down the bottom of the front straightaway. Now Brendan's going to go back after Timothy, and then they're going to be caught up with some more of the stuff with the 5 and the 31. James does an aggressive move on Todd here, gets into the back of him, and is able to squeeze past Todd and take the position. No, Todd's mad. Let's see what results.
Bodine hit the back of the 31.
Yeah,
ran him into the 62.
Ran him into Brendan.
And now the 31 turns him.
James runs in the back of Todd, turns him around, then runs in the back of Timothy Peters. And here's Max now. That's awesome. That's good short track racing.
Short track racing.
Well, a lot of fun hijinks there in Martinsville, and Max Pappas and Todd Bodine had a chance to do a little male bonding at the shop this week, I know.
Absolutely.
I'm just curious about, is this an item that is partially resolved, a little resolved, not at all resolved? Where does it stand?
Racing, those kind of things happen. Definitely I was not expecting Todd as a friend of mine, as my teammate, to crash me out in the race, but I'm sure that if he has to look back at stuff, he wouldn't do what he did. So for me, he's behind me. I'm going out racing hard. It was just a big disappointment overall, but racing is racing. I'm not here complaining about it. Just we go ahead, and we're going to have a lot of fun here in Texas. And let me say first, hi to my family, Marco, Matteo, Tati. They're not here. I miss you guys a lot. You're awesome. You're part of my heart. And as I told you guys all the time, values are what are important things in life, and we have them all.
And a good beginning to his Movember going right here for Livestrong. Krista?
And Ray, he walked by me a few moments ago and said, this race is going to be crazy. Todd Bodine mentioned they're glad Martinsville's in his rearview mirror, especially when Texas is the next race. He has won here 6 times, but only once in November. It was 2005. The date was November 4th, same as today. But another driver who turned this track into his playground even earlier was Brendan Gaughan. Gaughan won here at Texas 4 races in a row. It was a clean sweep in 2002 and 2003. Brendan Gaughan was also in some of that Martinsville melee with Bodine and Pappas. Even so, he is one of the guys we are giving a thumbs up for moving to the front last week. week. Grant Enfinger started 29th, but was able to keep his cool and bring home a top 20. An Alabama native, we know who he's rooting for in college football tomorrow. Jason White, also starting towards the back in 26th, was able to drive it up to 15th. I mentioned Brendan Gaughan. Despite the trouble with Bodine, Pappas, and Peters, Brendan still finished in the top 10, his third straight top 10 finish. And Joey Coulter was the top finishing rookie, finishing 5th. It was his first top 5 since Iowa in July. More on the rookies still to come as we continue the climb here in Texas. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Camping World and the Good Sam RV Club. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, roadside assistance, insurance, and more. And by Stable Fuel Stabilizer. When you store, start with Stable. All of the drivers love Texas Motor Speedway because it's big and fast and temperatures are cooling down. That means speeds are going to be going up. If it feels like the Truck Series was just here in Texas, well, it's because we were. It was just 5 months ago that the Truck shared this track with the IndyCar Series. That race provided what very well could be the best soundbite of 2011. Problem is, for one of our championship drivers, it came on account of a black flag. The answers of what happened are in the vault.
First attempt at a green-white checker. Can Johnny Sauter hold off Ron Hornaday Jr.?
This is the restart. This is where it could be won or lost right here.
Coming to the green flag. Johnny Sauter from the outside with the race lead, and Ron Hornaday chasing him down toward the inside.
Hornaday slides in the line in that second spot as Johnny Sauter is able to get away.
Johnny Sauter moves down the racetrack before he gets to the start-finish line. They could black flag Johnny Sauter for that move. He cannot move out of his line until he gets to the start-finish line. White flag in the air. Johnny Sauter is leading, but will he be able to hold on to that spot?
They're going to black flag Johnny Sauter. He changed lanes before the green flag flew.
They're going to take this win away from Johnny Sauter. We saw it was obvious. He was way to the inside before they got to the start-finish line.
Coming in at turn number 4, Johnny Sauter's in front. He's been black flagged. It will be the win for Ron Hornaday. Win number 3 in Texas.
I'm not going to vote as what he judged, the judgment he just did, but he actually all came down. I seen him slide a little bit, and then he just kept the momentum coming in front of us just to blocks a little bit. And then when he figured it out, he came back up there. But it's just an unbelievable day. I'll take that.
Johnny headed back to the garage. Comment?
God bless America.
Got a good restart at last. What do you think NASCAR's decision is on this restart?
He's got a lane to race down there. You know, we both spun the tires. It's just whatever, you know.
You gonna go meet with NASCAR now and try to get an official word from him?
Nah, it's official, isn't it?
Johnny Sauter.
Ron Hornaday about to go to driver intros. I know you had a big win here in the spring. A second, a first, and a first are your last 4 races. So where do you stand in this championship chase?
You tell me. I mean, we're just going to do the same thing. Kevin Delaney's gave me a great truck again. And One Lane Financial Group come aboard, and Elliott Sadler's on the pole, so that's good for them. So we'll let you know by the end of the race.
More information coming later from Hornaday, Krista.
Thanks, Hornaday is in the thick of this thing, but there is another battle going on as well. It's the battle for Rookie of the Year. The rookie battle certainly tight. We knew at the beginning of the year with the new talent we had in the series, it could play out like this. Right now, Joey Coulter is leading the youth movement, but he actually has the lowest best finish of these 4 drivers. Cole Witt had all the momentum at the start of the year. He is currently second in points, 4 back. Some other rookies to keep an eye on. There's Johnny Sauter, actually, from driver introductions. There you see Joey Coulter. Joey Coulter, definitely a contender. He loves this track. Starting 14th tonight, Joey Coulter, teammates of Austin Dillon. Cole Witt, as we said, he had all of the momentum at the beginning of the year. Cole Witt definitely a factor as well. He is 4 points behind Joey Coulter. Another rookie, Nelson Piquet. He has really been coming on strong. He is starting 7th, a great qualifier, still looking for his first win. And Parker Kligerman, 4th in the rookie battle. He may have the upper hand, though, because his best career finish of 2nd came here in June. Stick around, a lot more from Texas Motor Speedway still to come here on Speed. Setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. And brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. Named one of the best sports towns in America, 2011 began with Cowboy Stadium hosting the Super Bowl, but it's not about America's team this weekend. Instead, all eyes are on the Great American Speedway. Welcome back. NASCAR has been around for over 60 years, but the trucks are not even 20 years old. One of the men who helped create the series would go on to become a championship owner. And for over a decade, he was a staple in the garage. But where is Jim Smith now?
When you think back on Truck Series, what it is today is nothing like what it was when it first began. It was a vision that Jim Smith and a group of his buddies had.
Truck racing came from 4 off-road enthusiasts, racing trucks in the desert. And we came up with the wild idea to build a truck to race in NASCAR. We wanted trucks to have a better platform to race them.
Jim Smith made a trip down to Daytona and met with Bill France Jr. He said he had this idea of racing pickups.
He said, Jimmy, you've spent too much time in Hollywood. And his answer was no. We built a truck, we went and tested it, took it to Daytona for the 500 and took it to the Circle Track show. And the next month, it was on every national magazine in the United States. And then Mr. France had Les Richter come out and visit us and say, maybe this kid from California is not so crazy after all.
And Ted Musgrave with victory number 6, victory number 11 for Ultra Motorsports this year.
Ultra Motorsports was one of those teams that is a dream team. Jim Smith was the type of owner that I think a lot of owners in today's world would like to be.
My job was really simple. Hire the best people, have the best parts, have the best motors, and go out and race against the best people. And that's what we did, and we did it very well.
The team members of Ultra Motorsports, they were known as the Ultra Bad Boys. Ultra Motorsports worked hard, but man, did they play hard, too. And that was sort of Jim Smith's reputation.
We had as much fun off the racetrack as we did on the racetrack.
36 series wins gave Ultra Motorsports many opportunities to celebrate. But for 10 years, the season championship eluded its owner. The 2003 finale was especially cruel.
They are going to black flag Ted Musgrave. Boy, how would you like to be black flagged out of a championship?
It was an emotional roller coaster ride for Jim Smith, where he thought he had won a championship, and then it was taken away right at the end.
In 2005, the man who helped bring the series to life finally brought the trophy home.
Ted Musgrave is the 2005 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion.
Looking at all the years I let it slip through our fingers, we finally won that championship, and it was a great day.
Jim Smith's first Truck Series title was also his last. Just weeks after hoisting the trophy, he announced he was shutting down Ultra Motorsports.
Everybody was shocked. Here is an extremely successful program. Had just won the championship, and they were going to close the doors.
Got a phone call from Dodge, and they were pulling out a truck race. We had probably enough sponsorship to do it, but not the way I like to race. And to be honest, it wasn't just the sponsorship. I just was tired. I was tired of it. And I had some young kids, and I hadn't spent a lot of time with them. And I says, you know what? I'm just not going to do this anymore. I watch it every week, love everybody in truck racing. I miss it a lot, but I made the right decision.
Whether he's here on a weekly basis or not, Jim Smith is an integral part of what we do each week. You know, 2 drivers who we haven't even mentioned yet are not only contenders to win this race, they could play a role in determining the champion. Kevin Harvick said this race is going to be nuts. Also here to play, the winner of the last 2 Fall Texas races, Kyle Busch. In fact, the last 4 times Kyle has raced a truck here, he has finished no worse than second. Keep your eyes on the Cup boys. They are here to steal the win. We will wrap up the setup next. Stick around.
In 2 weeks, One of the tightest points battles in years comes to an end as the Camping World Truck Series heads to Homestead for its season finale. Dillon, Buscher, Sauter, and Hornaday have battled all season long, but in the end, there can only be one champion, who will claim 2011 as their own. Krista Voda hosts the setup starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.
I am so excited about our championship battle. I'm also excited for the menu on Speed on Sunday. Just turn your television to Speed and leave it there all day long. Well, back to this Truck Series race tonight. Want more intrigue? Austin Dillon is our points leader, but his worst finish of the year happened right here in June. James Buscher, his nearest competitor, on the pole. The Winstar World Casino 350K on Speed starts right now.
It's the meaning within a pair of boots. The accomplishment surrounding a cowboy hat. It's the disappointment in finishing second.
Johnny Sauter's in front. He's been black flag. It will be the win for Ron Hornaday.
And side-by-side duels on the wild open road.
It's a hard hit to the outside.
It's a town where victory lane is only big enough for one lone star.
Never a dull moment. We're a team to be reckoned with. The track position much harder to come by here in Texas.
Who's it going to be tonight?
Round up the trucks. It's Texas. And it starts now. Live on Speed.
The Lone Star State will have to be a little more generous this evening because we have numerous stars in tonight's race. Welcome to the Winstar World Casino 350K presented on Speed by Ram. To kick it all off, let's go for the pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise and remove your hats as the 3rd Mission Training Group Color Guard presents our nation's colors. And please remain standing as Texas Motor Speedway track chaplain Father Jay Atwood offers tonight's invocation.
Almighty and eternal God, we give you thanks for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. We give you thanks for the freedoms we celebrate in this country and the men and women who defend those freedoms every day. We give you thanks for all those who make motorsports racing such a great event. The drivers, the crews, the teams, their sponsors, the flagmen. And Lord, we ask for your safety and protection this night as they compete. Allow them to do what they do to the best of their ability. And remind us all that what we do to your honor and glory. And this we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
And here to perform our national anthem from the band Vintage Daisies and vocalist at the School of Rock in Austin. Please welcome Ariel Herrera and Peyton Keller.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets, the red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Let's hear it once again for Ariel Payton with that rendition of our national anthem.
A little cooler temperatures in the Texas area have the fans bundled up. The drivers are climbing in. When we come back, they'll fire the engines in Texas. Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway, the Winstar Casino 350K, presented on Speed by Ram. Let's get our storylines. We go back trackside to Krista Voda.
Bottom line, 4 drivers within 15 points of the title. So what are the storylines? Well, the math is simple. Every position equals a point. So track position means everything. But keep your eye on Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, because the positions they take away also take away points from our title contenders. And what about our front row, number 1 and number 2 in the points? This first lap is going to be crazy. Whoever leads it gets that point. Why watch this race? 4 men are in for the fight of their life.
Well, Krista, that is exactly right. Hello, everyone. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you. A great points battle, a great championship race. Now, Michael, I have to ask you, how much is experience going to play into this championship when we've got 2 21-year-olds right now leading the points?
It looks like it's going to play into it big time, Rick. Ron Hornaday is the only one in the top 4 in points that have won a championship, and he's won 4 of them, and he is on the gas. In the last 4 races, Phil, he has 2 wins and 2 second-place finishes, gaining 32 points on the championship lead. He's on it, and the other guys, they've stumbled, Phil.
They have, but Austin Dillon, our point leader right now, in the last 7 races, he stumbled at Las Vegas, but the other 6, he averaged finish about 3rd. So he's on it, too. He led 40-some laps here in the spring, but he got into trouble with Matt Crafton on the front straightaway, ended up with a poor finish. He needs to avenge that finish. Austin Dillon is very, very good on the 1.5 miles, and he's going to be very, very good here tonight. They're very confident in their truck.
Exactly. And another thing that we've got to factor into this race, we've got 2 Cup stars that are going to come into play as far as our championship with Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick in this race.
And I would also look at speed. We've got the most speed anywhere right here at Texas. These trucks are flying, so it'll be intense.
We know Kevin Harvick is a team player. He owns that truck around Hornaday's. If he has to give up a position for Ron Hornaday, he will do that. Kyle Busch has no such teammate. He's all in it for the win.
Well, everybody's ready for the engines to fire, so let's go trackside for the command to get those engines fired up and get this race underway.
And now, race fans, for those most famous words in motorsports, please welcome a guest of Winstar World Casino, Ronnie Erdman.
Drivers, start your engine!
10-4, bud. Great. Okay, Allison, go ahead and fire it up here, bud.
A very passionate command given, and 36 trucks come to life as we're getting ready for 147 laps at Texas Motor Speedway. Stay with us right here on Speed. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on Speed by Ram. Designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram. Brought to you in part by Camping World and Good Sam RV Club. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, roadside assistance, and more. And in high definition by Kunai. Kunai, fun and innovative. Experience more at KunaiAmerica.com. A cool evening in the Dallas-Fort Worth area here at Texas Motor Speedway. 56 degrees, clear skies, no worry of precipitation. This evening, the forecasted low, 40 degrees. Very chilly here in Texas. I want to take a look at our Camping World track description and the particulars of this 1.5 miles.
Talked to Johnny Sauter, a couple of the guys down in the garage area. They said last night qualifying, right on the mat, drove around the bottom, said they felt like they're at Daytona. But, Phil, when they start to attack these banks here, 24 degrees in the corners, things will get a little dicey when they start racing.
Yeah, and they think the racetrack will loosen up, too, so that'll be a handful for these guys. 24-degree banking in the corner. They said the grip was crazy last night.
Now let's look at our Ram race analysis. 36 trucks starting this one.
The 28th race here at Texas Motor Speedway.
5 Texas races have been won by the pole. A couple of guys got this place figured out. Todd Bodine, multiple wins here, along with Brendan Gaughan. He won 4 in a row.
4 in a row. 2002, 2003.
We like to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers. This week, we're talking about the 4 drivers that are right in the hunt for the Rookie of the Year. So starting us off with our Speed Spotlight, Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. It has been an absolute blast to watch these four guys going out at this year. And at our earlier race in Texas this year, Parker Kligerman came home with a second place and followed it up at the next race in Kentucky with the same finish. And that has set him up for a great run at next year's championship. He'll have this sponsor, Cooper Standard, along with Reese Tow Hitch, Draw Tide, and Mopar. They just announced it. He'll be back next year, and that's good news. Hermie?
Well, Ray, another rookie driver that has really made strides on the racetrack this year is Nelson Piquet Jr. He is 12th in points, 4 top 5, 8 top 10 finishes. He qualified 7th for tonight's race. He's still waiting for that one breakthrough victory. Now, as it relates to 2012, he has not announced his plans, but the rumor mill says that he may end up at Turner Motorsports for a run to the championship next season. Phil?
I want to take a look at 20-year-old Alpine, California driver Cole Witt. He comes from an open-wheel background, but last year he made the transition to stock cars. 4th in KNST East points last year. Finished second 3 times. Didn't get that win, though. But he won the pole this year at Darlington in his 4th career start at the very difficult Darlington. Finished a career best second at Dover just a few weeks after that. He's second rookie year points, only 4 points behind right now. He's going to make his Cup debut, attempt to make his Cup debut next week at Phoenix with a Red Bull team. And he will start his Fuel Doctor Chevrolet from the 18th spot, Mikey.
Phil, our Rookie of the Year point leader is 21-year-old Joey Coulter from Miami Springs, Florida. Joey hit his stride 8 races into this 2011 season, reeling off 7 straight top 10 finishes, including 3 top 5s. One of those top 5s came right here at Texas. Another top 5 last week at Martinsville gives Joey that 4-point lead you're talking about, Phil, coming in here to Texas. Joey will start 14th tonight in his Richard Childress Racing America Eurocopter Chevy.
One of the best rookie classes probably in the history of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Again, Coulter leading it with 2 races to go, but a very tight battle between these top 4.
Got 4 guys battling for the championship. They're tight. We got 4 guys battling for the Rookie of the Year point title. That's cool. We got a good battle here.
Numerous ingredients go into winning a race. Ray Dunlap, what are the Walmart recipe for success ingredients?
Well, Rick, I think you got to talk about crew chiefs. And over the last 2 seasons, Eric Phillips has been the man. Last week at Martinsville, he won with Denny Hamlin. That became the 7th driver for him to get a victory with. His career total stands at 26. That's 1 away from his boss, who is Rick Wren, with 27. Eric Phillips has Kyle Busch behind the wheel this week. And at Homestead, I think a new record's about to be set. Hermie?
Well, Ray, the Camping World Truck Series continues to get strong with exciting new talent coming into the series. Ty Dillon, the 2011 ARCA Racing Series champion, announced that he will be full-time in the Camping World Truck Series in 2012 out of Richard Childress Racing. You can see him celebrating his ARCA Series championship this year. He brings the Dillon name, tremendous backing from RCR, and a lot of young blood into this series. We'll see if he can turn that potential into performance. Rick?
A champion.
Thanks, Hermie. An amazing bloodline there for the Dillon family. Richard Childress' grandsons have had amazing success and potentially could have a champion in Austin Dillon. It all depends on the last 2 races, and we're about to get underway with the penultimate race of the 2011 season. Bringing the field to the green flag, James Busher, Austin Dillon, green flag in the air, we're underway.
Keep an eye on that truck outside row number 2, Kyle Busch.
Normally a very good starter or restarter. In this situation, he's on the high side, following behind Austin Dillon.
But when they got down to turn 1, Rick, none of them let off. There wasn't any way for Kyle to make any ground up because everybody was right on the gas.
Making a move, Justin Lofton in the 6 on the bottom of the racetrack moves up. He gets by Nelson Piquet Jr. as well as Hornaday.
Yeah, Piquet Jr. didn't get a very good start. He's got her wound up now. We also know he's a cat that likes to run up top of the racetrack, so that groove could be good for him tonight.
Piquet moves up already. James Busher gets that all-important 1 point for leading lap number 1.
Busher out in front. Austin Dillon slides up behind him in second. Then it's Kyle Busch in the 18. Kyle built this truck. That team built this truck specifically for this racetrack. They want to come out here and win.
And felt like they qualified better than they usually do. They felt like Toyota's a little bit off qualifying. As we see Hornaday make the move on Justin Lofton for 4th, they really felt like they did a nice job with their aero package to get a great qualifying effort for Kyle Busch.
Side by side, Hornaday on the bottom of the racetrack. Justin Lofton on his outside. Lofton falls back. Hornaday powers by on the bottom of the racetrack.
Piquet is going to try to follow as well on the inside in that 8 truck. See Kevin Harvick right behind that side-by-side battle in the 2 truck.
There's Ty Dillon right on the back of Hornaday.
A little bit loose for Piquet Jr., a little bit on the bottom.
Ty Dillon has been strong in both practices yesterday as well as qualifying. A very impressive performance early on in this weekend. We'll see how he does here in the race today.
And it's so nice, as Hermie mentioned, already the ARCA Racing Series championship in the bag. Come out here and have a little bit of fun.
That's a bonus. Win a championship. Here you go. Take a ride in the truck.
This is his second start. Talking about the 21 of Ty Dillon. He ran at Kentucky earlier this year.
How valuable is this for that young man, Phil? Running along and behind Kevin Harvick there, watching that side-to-side battle, taking it all in, figuring out what he needs to do when he gets down on the inside of Justin Lofton. Meanwhile, Johnny Sauter, championship contenders all over his tailgate.
Michael, you're not going to believe this. We're hearing that the 21 of Ty Dillon, you see him move over and slow down. He's being posted for changing lanes before they got to the start-finish line. You talk about experience, that's going to be a good lesson.
How valuable is this for him, Phil? Just like racing around those championship contenders, now he's got to come to pit road and serve.
Be careful at the speed.
Yep. You see that left front tire?
The left front.
That could be a flat spot, too, so you'll have to watch that truck.
All right, all green all the way down. It's all good, man. We got plenty of time to get this back.
Be interesting to see if he was speeding in that first segment, too.
And here's the restart. Take another look.
See, Nelson Piquet Jr. is a little bit slow on the start, and Ty's going to move over right in front of him just as he got to the start-finish line.
You can't change lanes, and he changed lanes, so wasn't much of an infraction, but it was indeed an infraction.
Still out front, James Buescher has about a 0.3 of a second lead over Austin Dillon. Again, those two are the top 2 in our point standings. Austin Dillon coming in, your point leader. James Buescher second in the point standings.
And there's Ty right now, but with the lucky dog, there's no sense to panic. Just stay up there somewhere close to the leaders. You know we're going to get a caution flag as we get a battle for second. Kyle Busch is on the inside in that 18 truck.
And you see the 21 of Ty Dillon, again, a lap down now behind Buescher. So he'll be in between the 18 of Kyle Busch and that 31 of James Buescher. How about the Plano, Texas native here, James Buescher? How big would a win be at Texas, his home state?
Heck, a win would be.
I think if you went to Mexico, it would be big for him.
He's been so close. He's contending for a championship. He's got to get to victory lane.
Big run by Ron Hornaday going to the inside of that 3 of Austin Dillon. Hornaday takes the spot away, moves up into third.
Big cushion right there.
I think Austin's struggling a little bit right now. He's lost a couple spots here in the last 2 laps.
Coming up on our 10th lap of racing here, 147 laps scheduled for this one. Just over 220 miles.
You know, we saw Ty Dillon come to pit road to serve his penalty, Phil. When he came to pit road, he slid that left front tire. Watch, it gets a lot of smoke. It could have flat spotted that thing. Check out how much smoke comes off that left front. Is it enough to cause him problems, Phil?
Let's see here.
Pretty serious.
Yeah, quite a bit of smoke right there, but you would think he would have the telltale vibration if it was really flat spotted bad.
We heard from NASCAR he was not speeding on pit road, so he obviously got it down to the right speed in that first segment. But potentially a flat spotted tire will give him a vibration, something that he'll have to think about other than worrying about what's going on the racetrack.
Obviously a fast truck, as we see Kevin Harvick moved by his teammate Nelson Piquet Jr. in the battle for 5th.
Harvick takes the 5th spot, moves into the top 5 after starting this race in the 10th position. So it's Buescher, Busch, Hornaday, Dillon, and Harvick, your top 5. And Nelson Piquet Jr., Lofton, Sauter, Kligerman, and Feast.
How about Ty Dillon now moving past our leader, James Buescher, to put himself back on the lead lap?
He's going to give Kyle Busch a run at Buescher, too, because Buescher had to slow up a little bit off 2 to keep from running into Dillon.
It looks like Buescher lost the front end when he got down there to the corner behind Ty.
Chased the truck up the racetrack, and Kyle Busch followed right behind him. They went a little higher through 1 and 2. Side by side on the right side, Justin Lofton and Johnny Sauter.
I've been impressed with Lofton. Haven't you lately, Phil? He just seems to run right around the top 10. Does a nice job in that truck. Really gaining on it.
Yeah, a lot of great things in store for Eddie Sharp Racing. They already announced that Cale Gale is coming over there with Ream sponsorship to run the full season, as well as Justin. So good things for Eddie Sharp Racing next year.
There's a lot of energy around the truck series. Guys moving to different teams, sponsors coming on board.
Nose to tail still for the lead. James Busher out in front of Kyle Busch. That tracks us number 18 of Kyle Busch stalking the 31 of James Busher.
How impressive is that move Ty Dillon made? We're seeing Kyle Busch. He can't get his way around our leader, Busher, but Dillon's not only driven around him, he's driven away from him.
Kyle Busch is going to do it right here, though. James Busher moves up the racetrack. Ooh!
Very close. Down to the apron goes Kyle Busch. Then he shoots up the racetrack, almost gets into the 31. And here comes Hornaday for second, trying to take that spot away.
How about that young driver, Ron Hornaday, trying to get by Kyle Busch here? Ooh, close.
Wide into turn 4. That moves Kyle Busch all the way up the racetrack. He has to catch it before he gets to the wall. And Hornaday catches the wall.
Caution's out, caution's out.
Caution is going to come out. Both drivers trying to get by. Look like the 17 of Timothy Peters. They slid up the racetrack, and now Kyle Busch not happy at all.
It's all good, dude.
And Kyle Busch is going to turn the 33 to the wall. Our championship contender Hornaday in the wall.
Well, Kyle Busch should be parked for this race and maybe the rest of the season for that.
Holy cow, I can't believe he did
Championship
that.
contender Ron Hornaday hard into the wall. Kyle Busch sends him in.
You all right?
Now, we saw him playing games like that at Martinsville, but we're running over 180 miles an hour here.
Window net down on the 33 of Hornaday.
The garage.
The two trucks were trying to get by the 17 of Timothy Peters.
I think it was a 07.
Oh, the 07, excuse me.
Pencil, that's what I was getting at.
That is unbelievable.
Yep. And that takes that 33 truck out of this championship hunt, I believe.
Hornaday coming in just 15 points back. Definitely in this championship hunt.
Go back
Gained
to the
32 points
See how bad
on the lead of this championship in 4 races and have it all come to an end like that.
Obviously, Kyle Busch is really mad at Ron Hornaday as they went side by side by that lap truck of the 07 of Johnny Chapman. Here it is right here. They go side by side.
Hornaday has to go up.
Kyle squeezes down on Ron, but Ron he's got to be in control of his truck. They both do a little bit of contact into the wall, but I believe those trucks could be repaired and maybe race for the win still.
And the caution has come out now. Right now, the caution is already out.
A little bit more damage on Ron Hornaday's truck. Very minimal damage to that 18 truck, but this is when he's going to show his displeasure to Ron Hornaday. He gets up against him, and he just won't never turn him loose, Mikey.
He's running wide open in the back of that truck, and he finally turns him head on into that outside wall.
I don't think NASCAR is going to, I think this goes beyond a little bit of have at it, boys.
Oh, it's definitely way past that. That truck's running 130, 40 miles an hour when it hits that outside wall.
Look at that thing jump up off the ground. Look at all the damage to that 33 truck.
Later parts of the season, teams always bring extra parts, spare things, but this hit is so massive that the front clip has to be bent. Everything underneath that hood damaged beyond repair.
He's out. He may get back on the racetrack and gain 2 or 3 positions.
I don't think he's going to do that, Phil.
I think that truck's probably ruined. This is the beginning of it. They go by. You see Johnny Chapman all the way down on the bottom of the racetrack as far as he can go. They're battling for second place right behind our leader. Hornaday gets a little bit loose. He runs Kyle up into the outside wall. He makes contact with the outside wall. And then they get down to the other end of the racetrack.
There you saw the yellow lights. They came out right away. And again, not much damage to either truck. Both cosmetic, could have been worked on.
You can see how tight Kyle is on the side of Ron. He gets loose when he goes around Johnny Chapman, pulls the air off his truck, and they both go into the outside wall. And I guarantee you Ron has no idea what's fixing to happen.
We got trucks on pit road. Again, the 17th lap of this 147 lap race, and a shocker early on in this one. James Busher gets the first pit stall.
Looks like fuel only for a number of trucks. A little bit of a chassis adjustment on the 3 of Austin Dillon. Fuel only for Kevin Harvick as they race off pit road. James Busher looked like maybe Austin Dillon may have won the race off pit road. See tires going on Jason White's gunbroker truck. Ooh, Parker Kligerman pulls out in the middle of traffic.
Interesting to see if Austin did get that lead. You talked about his truck was fading a little bit, Phil. He didn't have the truck he wanted early in the race. They made a chassis adjustment, and then if he could grab the lead off pit road, that's going to be huge for his championship hopes.
Here comes Ty Dillon off of pit road. Again,
Ty Dillon potentially, he had raced his way back to the front, so he was on the lead lap, didn't have to worry about getting the lucky dog. Now you see the 18, that's the truck driven by Kyle Busch. NASCAR has said the 18 and Kyle Busch parked for the race, and Kyle Busch and Eric Phillips, you will need to report to the hauler, the NASCAR hauler, at the conclusion of this race.
I'm speechless.
At Martinsville, we saw tempers flaring. At a short track, you've got a little bumping and banging. We come to a big racetrack like Texas Motor Speedway, where we have seen speeds upwards of nothing we've seen all year long. The fastest racetrack we go to, and now we have Kyle Busch retaliating on the 33, upwards of 150 miles an hour.
Saw Ron get loose right there. Made some contact.
Back in turn 1 and 2
here.
And they send him into the wall. 3 and 4. Ron Hornaday, Kyle Busch involved in our first caution of the evening.
Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway. Ron Hornaday just out of the Infield Chaos Center. I want to show you some video, Ron. Tell us first what happened under green and then what followed up after the caution came out.
Oh, under green, I knew that, Kyle knew there was a lap in there too. I moved up on the straightaway. He stayed on the quarter panel, and I don't know. We just touched a little bit, I guess. I don't know. But he knows I'm going for a point still. I don't know why he didn't do it. But anybody got a cup car, he'll never win a championship again. I mean, this is just stupid. I mean, he knew what I was going for. He knew I was there. He had to lift too. I mean, if I'd have lifted, I'd have hit the back of the slower car, so slower truck, and it would cause a big wreck. But he just drove me in the fence. I mean, he just ruined a perfectly good race car.
That's Ron Hornaday, unfortunately, done for the night, and his championships hopes done for the night as well, Rick.
Yeah, just so disappointing to see this early on in this race as well as late in the season, as Ron Hornaday had worked so hard to get back in the championship hunt.
That's a situation where Kyle Busch's temper just got away from him. He just got away from him. I know he's upset with Ron Hornaday, but that's uncalled for. That's uncalled for. Look at this is how the points run right now. See Ron Hornaday 50 behind.
He's out of it.
He's out of it. He's out of it. The most points you can get in any one race is 48.
The new point system will eliminate Ron Hornaday from being a part of this championship when we go to Homestead at the final race.
Kyle Busch eliminated Ron Hornaday. It wasn't the point system.
Right.
It's Kyle Busch.
We're 20 laps in, and I don't know if I can speak anymore. I can't believe that just went down this early in the race. These guys will...
Working around a slower lapped vehicle. The 33 and 18 moved up the racetrack into the wall. That brought out our first caution. Now getting ready for the restart. Out in front, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick on the inside. Green flag back in the air.
See Kevin Harvick pulls dead even with Austin as they enter turn number 1. As you said, Michael, they'll run through here wide open.
62 problems for Brendan Gaughan, smoking.
Is that a right front?
Yeah, come on down.
Where's that engine?
Engine related, I believe.
Looks like engine. Yeah.
So the caution comes out once again.
Transmission exploded in my hands, he said.
Wow.
Maybe going through the gears,
I mean, I didn't over-rev it or nothing. RPM's 8,600.
Watch another truck hit him in the back when it happens.
A little bit of damage right there from the 20 of Johanna Long.
Four-time winner at Texas. Those were consecutive for Brendan Gaughan. Won't happen tonight. Out in front, Austin Dillon, your points leader. Tonight, the biggest party in racing revs up in the Lone Star State, and the excitement hits high gear as Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon stop by for some fun. Don't miss NASCAR Trackside from Texas tonight. That's 11 Eastern, only on Speed. Under our second caution at Texas Motor Speedway, we'll be back for more of the Winstar Casino 350K.
It's Camping World's Destination Recreation.
You know, folks, I don't think I have to make you a list of all the times in your life when it might have been convenient to have a little bit of portable power. Whether you're tailgating, camping, a home emergency, or a weather backup. This could really come in handy. Now, this is a unit from Champion, and we have them at Camping World. This is their smallest generator, which applies 1,200 watts. Now, you can also get it all the way up to 4,000 or 7,500 watts. It's got an easy start system. You've got a 30-amp outlet right here, a breaker, and an on and off switch. Now, what I really love about this unit is it's lightweight. It's got a tubular steel frame, so if this thing falls off the back of your pickup, it's not going to get destroyed. Now, if you come to Camping World, we've got this full line of Champion and also Honda EU generators. So whatever your portable power needs are, Camping World has your solution.
Well, today in Texas, it would be to get a heater going in a lot of these campers and RVs that are parked in the infield and just outside of Texas Motor Speedway.
Need to get on a heater.
How about a little Twitter update now? This is Max Pappas' wife. Glad to see Ron Hornaday's okay, dude. Kyle Busch needs some psychiatric help.
There's a lot of things going on Twitter today, and this is going to add to it. Pretty much exploded, didn't it?
Yeah, biggest story, obviously, of the night. This is what they're talking about. Kyle Busch, after the caution came out, intentionally puts the 33 of Hornaday into the wall.
That could be the biggest story of the year. I mean, taking a guy out of the championship battle.
NASCAR immediately parks the 18, says you are definitely done for the evening. Crew chief driver will have to report to the NASCAR hauler at the end of this race. Randy Kaiser takes the pace truck off of the racing surface and onto pit road. Now it's Austin Dillon and the two of Kevin Harvick racing to the start-finish line. Green flag back in the air.
Look at James Busher. He drafts over and behind Harvick. Maybe is going to push him by Austin Dillon.
All right, after the green flag has come out, we want to hear from Kyle Busch. He is the big story, and he's standing by with Ray.
Okay, Kyle has come out of the hauler, and Kyle, obviously this will be the big story of the week. That's the one question is, did you just lose your mind for a few seconds there, or did you consider that Ron was in the championship?
Well, if you consider Ron was in the championship, maybe Ron could have played it a little bit smarter on lap 15 and checked up a little bit and given room to everybody around. You know, obviously, if you make it a three-wide situation, I can't go up in the dirt. You know, I'm already on the outside lane. There's not three lanes out here right now. It's a truck race. It's the first race of the night here this weekend. And, you know, so if I just lay over and give up everything for Ron Hornaday, that's not Kyle Busch's fashion. I'm out here to win a race just as much as anybody else is. And when he races up on my inside, gets loose, and takes me up to the fence, I ended up losing my cool. And I've been wrecked 4 weeks in a row, and finally I just had enough of it. And so I'm sorry it was Ron Hornaday, and he's going after a championship. But the fact of the matter is, it's just, you know, you can't place all blame on one person. There was two people that got into it to begin with, and there was two people that ended it.
Thank you for coming out. That's Kyle Busch.
Again, Kyle Busch, Ron Hornaday involved in an incident early in this race. Ron Hornaday out of the race. Kyle Busch out of the race as well, but Hornaday now out of the championship hunt.
Look at this battle. These guys can go all over this racetrack. It will widen out 3 even. You could probably go 4 wide here. You can see these guys are starting to figure that out.
On the right side of your screen while we were listening to Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick did get the lead. Now he is in front of James Busher. Austin Dillon has dropped back to the 3rd spot. Nelson Piquet Jr. and Cole Witt are your top 5.
As you can see, left side of your screen, everyone wants to talk to Kyle Busch about what went down about 10 laps ago. Meanwhile, we have a championship battle on our own here. Obviously, Ron Hornaday's not going to be a part of it, but we still have 3 guys chasing this championship.
Yeah, only 19 positions on the track separate those 3 guys, and there's a lot of racing left to do.
Right now, Johnny Sauter trying to get in one of those positions. He's 3rd as they're running on the racetrack, and he's trying to get a spot away from Timothy Peters in that 17.
Quarter, bumper, clear in.
And Johnny Sauter takes the 6th spot away from Timothy Peters. Sauter trying to move toward the front, get after his 2 closest competitors in the championship, Busher and Austin Dillon.
Johnny Sauter was 19 points behind. He picks up a spot. That's the way the point system works now, Phil. You know, you pick up a spot, that's a point. And how many other points you're behind, that's how many trucks you got to pass to make up that deficit. So these guys are very well aware of what kind of battle we're in.
And right now, Austin Dillon in a great position as we see Ricky Carmichael, who had to go to the back of the pack due to an engine change, move up to the inside of Parker Kligerman.
And he's
in the
been
29 truck.
He's been on a roll throughout this race. He's really fast, working the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to be able to clear Kligerman.
Very close, but he gets in front. That's Ricky Carmichael in the Monster Energy number 4 out in front of the 29 of Parker Kligerman.
Oh, caution.
And the caution comes out once again here on lap 33.
Johanna Long, the 20 truck, gets turned around right here at the start-finish line.
Usually when you're stopped at the start-finish line and there's smoke around, you just want to race, but not this
situation. So Johanna Long gets it fired back up. She'll keep moving around the 1.5 mile Texas Motor Speedway. Again, just 33 laps into this 147-lap race after James Busher started on the pole to begin this one. He is now running in the second spot behind Kevin Harvick.
You know, Johanna Long got her best career finish here back in June. She finished 11th.
Take a look at why the caution came out. 20 of Johanna Long on the outside of Jason White.
Oh, Jason just run up into the left rear quarter panel. And how fortunate is she, Phil, to spin, running probably 150, 60 miles an hour right off the corner, not hit a thing.
Yeah, late enough at the exit of the corner that she had some room to get to the inside. You heard Jason playing with the throttle there. Couldn't quite stay off her, though.
She spent a lot of time down in the grass, so maybe those tires won't blow out. But as fast as she's going with the way they're flat spotted, that's a little bit of a dangerous game she's playing there.
So Johanna Long brings out the third caution of this race, and so many people are talking about the big story of this race when Kyle Busch turned Ron Hornaday. Here's another tweet. This one from Jelena Harvick, who is co-owner of the 33 of Hornaday. I agree. Seem to remember they parked someone else on a Sunday. After Bob Pockrass mentioned, Hornaday says Busch needs to be parked for Sunday.
And what she's talking about, Kevin Harvick one time was parked for what happened in the truck race at Martinsville on Saturday.
Winstar Casino 350K presented by Ram here on Speed, your motorsports authority. More coming up next. Welcome back to Fort Worth, Texas, under the lights for the 24th race of the 2011 season, and eventful is an understatement of what we've seen to start this one off.
I didn't think we could top the action from last week and the excitement and the drama. That was good racing. This is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's uncalled for in our sport, really, to see what happened just happened. About the 15th lap.
Yeah, what the two of you are talking about is the incident early on in this race between the 33 of Hornaday and the 18 of Kyle Busch. They're working around the slower lap traffic of Johnny Chapman here.
And I'll give Ron a little bit of a break on that deal there. Kyle knew well that they were going to be 3 wide, and he had, Ron. He can say Ron should have let off. Well, Kyle could have given him a little room. There wouldn't have been anything wrong with that either.
And this is the result down in turns 3 and 4 when Ron Hornaday just nails the outside wall. And if we go back to the original situation down in 1 and 2, here we go again with Kyle pushing Ron into the outside wall. He gets in his right rear corner. No choice, but he's going into the outside wall. Ron had about a half a truck length on Kyle when they approached that lap truck of Johnny Chapman.
That's like, I agree with that for sure.
You do have to remember, both drivers have a gas pedal and a brake. They could both let up in that situation. Either one.
That Denny Hamlin looked a whole lot like Austin Dillon.
We've been checking out social media. A lot of talk flying on Twitter tonight, and Phil will fill you in on what that means since you don't have a Twitter account. But
I know what Twitter is.
Oh, okay, all right. We've had a lot of tweets that have come across to our Twitter account here in the Camping World Truck Series, which is NCWTS on Speed. And here's what Denny Hamlin had to say. How about Speed Channel posting Twitter comments? Oh, wait a minute. He's talking about what we're doing right now.
Well, and how about the fact that all the Twitters that we've seen and all the tweets that we were talking about are all unanimous?
Yeah, it's very unanimous, and I think everyone saw exactly what took place. And it's a terrible situation for Ron Hornaday, who was fighting to win a 5th championship in the Camping World Truck Series, and so impressive the last 4 races. Top 2 finishes our last 4 races, and then this has to happen. How about Justin Lofton, Jason White, your top 2 as they come to the start-finish line. Green flag back in the air.
Both those drivers stayed out on this caution flag. You see Kevin Harvick now moving into 3rd. He is the first truck right now that did pit on that caution flag.
Along with Jack Smith, he's down on the bottom of the racetrack. He stayed out as well, so these guys are smelling the front. See if Jay White can drive off with the lead.
4 wide.
Justin Lofton out in front, but as you mentioned, Phil, 4 wide behind him as they go into turn number 3.
How about that move by James Busher?
A big move on the bottom of the racetrack. Gets him up into the 3rd spot.
Told you could go 4 wide here.
James Busher wants to get out in front, wants to make it to victory lane in the Camping World Truck Series. He takes second away from Jack Smith now. So Buescher up into second.
Look at Austin Dillon squeezing down on the bottom, making a move under Matt Crafton, trying to get around Jason White. Jason didn't get a very good start, but he's got her wound up now, and he's able to hold off Dillon down on the bottom.
3 wide, working through turns 3 and 4. Way to the high side of the racetrack. That's the 60 of Cole Witt. They're still 3 wide as they come out of 4. Cole Witt takes the spot away from Ricky Carmichael.
Right-hand side, James Buescher's going after Justin Lofton. Trying to wrestle that lead away here.
Amazing thing happened yesterday in between practices. Justin Lofton, Joey Coulter, Ty Dillon, and Austin Dillon all got together in a hauler and started talking about how all their trucks were handling. And the guy who was leading the conversation, 21-year-old Austin Dillon, was talking from experience. How about the battle for the lead? James Buescher looking to get by the 6 of Justin Lofton as they cross the stripe. Buescher in front. James Buescher back to the front of the field here at Texas.
You guys don't look now, though, but as they run on the racetrack, James Buescher is our point leader.
By 2 points over the 3 of Austin Dillon.
Oh, Justin Lofton says, I like this lead. James, you're going to have to work that bottom well to get around me, and that's a hard thing to do, Phil. He's taking air off the side of the truck. We saw Hornaday get sideways when Kyle Busch was up beside him. That's what Buescher's dealing with right now.
Almost a little contact there as Buescher was trying to move up the racetrack. Justin Lofton moved down the racetrack, and so across the stripe that time by, it was Lofton that was out front. Here goes Buescher now on the bottom of the racetrack, and he's being followed by the 17 of Timothy Peters, who takes second away.
And here comes Kevin Harvick to try to take over that 3rd spot. It opened up the bottom, lost enough momentum to allow both the 17 and the 2 to get by.
Justin Lofton led the last lap, but this time by, it's going to be that 31 of James Buescher out in front of the field here in Texas.
A little bit of debris on the racetrack there. Somebody just ran over it. Looked like Austin Dillon ran over it. I didn't know if that may be a piece of tire or something like that. Wasn't sure what it was.
Like almost a plastic bag.
Around the 3. Right in front of him, Johnny Sauter again. The points battle tightening up. 16 points separate the top 3. And unfortunately, 42 points back is the 33 of Ron Hornaday, out of contention for the 2011 championship.
What about how competitive Jack Smith is? That's cool to see him running up in the top 10. Hadn't seen him up there much, and hanging right in beside Joey Coulter there, running side by side with the guy that was the point leader coming here. He's now not the point leader, but we're going to have that a lot over the next couple of races.
Yeah, Jack had an 11th place finish at Atlanta, his career best, so he did good on a 1.5 miles. Ty, give that 66 some room up there against the outside wall.
Riding along with Todd Bodine, 6-time winner here at Texas Motor Speedway.
Did you hear that, Phil? Down into turn 3, barely off the gas and right back wide open and making it work, too. Drives around the 66 truck. Now he's going after Miguel Paludo.
Yeah, Ross Chastain's in the 66 again for his, I think, 3rd or 4th start in that truck. See, off the throttle a little bit, just briefly.
Barely out of the gas. We see Cole Witt making the move by the 88 of Matt Crafton, and a big run by Johnny Sauter. He'll go by his teammate.
Still there.
So Sauter working the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get by the 88. Bobbled by the 23 of Jason White. The 13 and 88 have to make room, and it looks as though Johnny Sauter is going to take advantage of that bobble and get by the 23.
You know, Michael, a lot of the crew chiefs thought this racetrack was going to loosen up here as it cooled off, and it sure looks like some of these guys have their hands full.
Carmichael at the bottom of the racetrack, just in front of that 23.
You know, as fast as we run here, Phil, and you get another truck around here, it changes the way your truck handles. It might get to start to lose the front end a little bit and push. Next thing you know, here comes the back end. So trucks running around you really upsets the way your balance works.
And that was the one thing that was prominent in that conversation that I was talking about between Austin, Ty, Joey, and Justin, because the 4 of them were running together on the racetrack saying, when you come up behind me, my truck gets incredibly loose because you're taking the air off of my spoiler. So a lot of lessons learned yesterday. James Buescher, the teacher tonight. Sunday with only 3 to go in the Chase NASCAR race day thunders into Texas. Denny Hamlin joins us live. We'll show you how Martinsville shook up the championship battle. NASCAR race day built by Home Depot. Sunday at noon, live on Speed. Out in front of this field, James Buescher has a 1.8 second lead over Timothy Peters running second. Then it's Kevin Harvick, Justin Lofton, and Cole Witt, your top 5. Sauter battling for that 5th spot, running in the 6th position. Austin Dillon Running 7th, Joey Coulter, Carmichael, and Crafton are your top 10.
You know, Austin's passed enough trucks now that if the race ended right now, as they run, he's back at the point leading by 1 point over James Bush.
And he and Johnny Sauter have driven up on the back of Cole Witt. See if Johnny can get a run on the outside of him here. Austin was down on the inside of Johnny Sauter. He couldn't make it work, and Johnny just drives around the outside of Cole. So maybe Austin should go up to the top and see what he's got up there.
Looks like he's going to look to the inside of Cole Witt. Going to follow him down the backstretch right now. Johnny Sauter moves up another spot into that 5th position. Austin's going to stay on the bottom. Cole moves up the racetrack a little bit.
Again, Sauter running in the 6th spot. Cole Witt behind him. Austin Dillon.
I think old Cole Witt's taken to this asphalt pretty well, don't you, Phil? Just a couple years ago, he'd never been on it. Spent a year in K&N, and now he's got a pole at Darlington, a couple of seconds, and he just runs right up near the front.
And remember, he's going to attempt to make his Cup debut.
Crash between the 32 of Blake Feast and the 29 of Parker Kligerman.
Oh, and Jack Smith gets a little piece of it down on the bottom of the track.
Does a nice job keeping that truck straight, but as you mentioned, look at all the damage to that Cooper Standard Dodge for Parker Kligerman. Tremendous amount of damage to the right side of that truck. Remember, one of our top rookie contenders coming in here.
They were battling for the 16th spot. We'll see how damaged Blake Feast's number 32 is.
Yeah, great qualifying effort for Blake Feast. Qualified 3rd for this race. But a lot of damage to that truck.
There's a dude on its hood.
Cyclone Aeneas. And take a look at how this happened.
They drive down in turn number 1.
Is Parker going to get a little loose? We've seen him have trouble with this year a couple times. Oh, he blows the right front.
Yeah, cut down a right front tire. And you saw the damage to that truck, how hard he hit that outside wall. That's after hitting Blake Feast and killing a little bit of that momentum.
Man, Blake thought, watch 63. I think he gets
caught.
A little damage on the right rear of that truck.
David Starr does a nice job, local Texas driver, getting woed in time to not get a piece of that. But there's the contact right there when Parker blows that right front tire. Hard contact for Blake into the outside wall. Here comes Jack Smith. Watch, he's going to get a little bit of contact just at the right rear corner. Turns him around.
Blake Feast, after starting this race in 3rd.
Watch that violent tire blowout. It just tears the fender off, and Blake Feast thought, what the heck? Where'd that come from?
Parker Kligerman into the wall as well. Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Las Vegas Motor Speedway. NASCAR returns to Las Vegas. Get your tickets today at lvms.com or by calling 1-800-644-4444. Brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. And by the YTI Career Institute. Get hands-on career training at the Motorcycle Technology Center. Biggest story of the night coming on lap 15. 18 and 33 trying to get by the 07 of Johnny Chapman. Up the racetrack goes the 33. A little contact made.
You can see both trucks get into the outside wall, but not enough damage to those trucks, I don't think, that they couldn't have come back and had a good competitive run. Maybe even one. I don't know if there's enough damage there to really hurt those trucks.
You couldn't even hardly tell the damage to the 18 truck until this happened right here.
Kyle Busch into the right rear of the 33, turns him into the wall. Both trucks pretty much destroyed. The 18 told by NASCAR, you are no longer able to go back out on the racetrack. You are parked. And the 18 driver and crew chief will meet with NASCAR officials after this race. How about this one? A fan of Kyle Busch says, I'm disgusted with his actions. So dangerous and stupid loss. A lot of respect for him tonight. Again, that one being twittered to us at NCWTS on Speed. I made the word, I said unanimous earlier when I said, you know, people talking about how bad that was. And somebody said, well, you're not reading them all.
Well, it should be unanimous.
Yeah,
it should be.
It's pretty close. Pit road's still closed here at Texas. When they come back, they'll hit pit road. We'll be there for it. Welcome back. Pit road is open at Texas Motor Speedway. James Buescher in front of the field. He will bring that field onto pit road now. Timothy Peters just behind him. Kevin Harvick, Justin Lofton, and Johnny Sauter, your top 5 as they make their way onto pit road, Hermie.
Well, Rick, the last time Timothy Peters was on pit road, crew chief Butch Hilton put 2 tires on this truck. Since he's been back on the racetrack, the truck is too loose. They're going to take 4 tires, Sunoco fuel, and as you see it, a little bit of wedge to the left rear. Greg?
Kevin Harvick in the middle of your screen. He wants to go with 4 tires here and said go back on the air pressure the way it was earlier. I like the truck a lot better. Justin Lofton, you see, getting a wedge adjustment. In that number 6, he's just a little bit loose off. On the right of your screen, it's the Exide Chevrolet. Michael Shelton, the crew chief, said we got to get 4 tires here and get ourselves set up for a later run. James Busher is going to go from the lead to about 8th place.
A big pickup by the 13 of Johnny Sauter. He moves up 4 spots and wins the race off of pit road. Ricky Carmichael makes up 7 spots, comes off pit road 2nd. We'll line them back up when we come back to Texas Motor Speedway. The penultimate race of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series season, and we've got it all right here on Speed.com, your home for up-to-date news, photos, and information from around the garage at Texas Motor Speedway. You go to the NASCAR section of Speed.com. So again, the big story happens on lap 15. The 18 and the 33 involved in an incident that brings out the first caution and wipes out Ron Hornaday's chances of a championship. And we get a free pass here, Michael.
Yeah, the Aaron's Lucky Dog is going to go to Clay Greenfield. We've had a couple that we hadn't talked about. Johnny Chapman got one, as did Jake Crum. So Mr. Butler, there's your lucky dogs for the race so far tonight. And there was a big crash on lap 13 or 14 that if you didn't happen to watch it, you might ought to stay tuned and try to catch a replay of that.
We've had 4 cautions. The most recent coming out for the 32 of Blake Feast was hit by the 29 of Parker Kligerman when the right front tire blew.
I love what's going on in pit road, Phil. We're mixing this running order up every pit stop. You got guys only getting a little gas, some guys taking tires, so we're seeing a lot of different trucks at the front of the field.
Right now, the first 2 trucks, Johnny Sauter, our leader, and the 13, Ricky Carmichael, both fuel only with adjustments on this last round of pit stops.
Jason White's used that strategy several times. Now he's up to the 6th spot. You see starting on the outside. See if Jason can get a good start here. His last one wasn't so good.
Johnny Sauter bringing the field back to the green flag on his inside. The 4 of Ricky Carmichael.
Bad start on the inside. Is that Joey Coulter in the 22?
I think it's Jake Crum.
That's Jake Crum in the 55.
Does he know Harvick's down there? Golly, crowded right down on Kevin, but he made it through okay. Crowded Jake out of the way.
Paluda way up to the top of the racetrack, trying to go around the outside. Here comes Harvick to the inside, making it 3 wide.
Big run by Kevin Harvick down the backstretch, goes to the inside of that 23 of Jason White, trying to take that position away. He'll go by the 8 of Nelson Piquet Jr. as well through turns 3 and 4.
Well, you know that 2 truck of Kevin Harvick's feeling good right now with those 4 tires.
Falling back just a bit, the 4 of Ricky Carmichael after the restart, starting up on the front row. It's Johnny Sauter out in front. Running 2nd.
See those trucks skipping through the turns 1 and 2. That's where the tunnel runs under the track, and it's really rough. I've talked to the guys down there, and they say it really upsets the trucks because there's one bump, and then there's another one right after it. It doesn't get settled down from the first bump, so they really have their hands full down in turns 1 and 2.
You know, when I was talking to the drivers during practice yesterday, they said the only thing that would possibly keep them from being able to run wide open is that bump over there at the tunnel.
That's the tunnel turn.
We hear that at Pocono all the time.
I've never really caught on here at Texas.
No. Side by side for position between the 3 and the 17. Those 2 running for the 9th position. Timothy Peters, Austin Dillon. 3 wide is James Busher right in the middle of that, and in the middle of our points championship. Kevin Harvick just behind him in the 2, and right out in front of him Joey Coulter in the 22. Coulter looking to wrap up the Rookie of the Year title. The problem is he's got 3 guys that are right there with him and 1 in front of him in Cole Witt.
Well, the guy running in front of him is his closest pursuer right now, only 4 points behind coming into this race, and Cole's very, very strong here tonight.
Johnny Sauter out in front of the field. He's got a 0.6 of a second lead over Cole Witt. Joey Coulter running 3rd. James Busher and Kevin Harvick your top 5. Here comes Austin Dillon looking to the inside of Justin Lofton.
There's his brother Ty up on the high side.
Guy making his 2nd ever start here in the Camping World Truck Series. Got his speedway here just a few weeks ago and really has a great truck. Now going to pull alongside his brother.
See all the room that he gives his brother, though. That's just a smart play right there. He doesn't want to have anything to do with his brother having any issues, and that was just a really respectful way to enter that turn. Had a run on Austin, but didn't take advantage of it.
riding along with that 5 of Todd Bodine, a 6-time winner here at Texas Motor Speedway, but hasn't been to victory lane in 2011 after his championship from a year ago.
And he's never been a full season in the Truck Series without going to victory lane. Time's running out, Michael.
We didn't see this coming either, Phil. He had a great season last year. Thought he would be really strong this year, and things have just gone bad for him.
Well, he drove around the outside of Jason White there, way up to the top of the racetrack.
Jason's going to have to say, if you're all going to keep starting me in the front, you better make an adjustment or two, because I can't seem to hang on to her.
James Busher just in front of the 2 of Kevin Harvick. Those 2 racing for the 4th position.
See Kevin pulling right over to side draft, right over next to the 31 of James Busher.
Busher up the racetrack just a bit higher, up into that 3rd groove. Ray, what's happening with the X-Side 31?
Well, as I said, a track bar adjustment there. On lap 60, they put on 4 tires. And Michael Shelton, the crew chief, is reminding James, keep in mind those guys in front of you are on differing strategies. They either went with 2 tires or none. We'll be good. And remember, we can race the 2 if you want, but that's not the big picture. The big picture is these guys up in front of you. Go back up there. Let's get the lead. Everything's going to be fine. And he thinks that they've got more options on the next round of pit stops than Johnny Sauter.
Ray, when you're talking big picture, our top 3 are separated by 5 points as they're running on the racetrack. Austin Dillon 4 in front of Johnny Sauter and 5 in front of the 31 of James Busher.
What about Busher? There's Dillon with a couple of rookies too, and they're running side by side. That's got to make you a little bit nervous, knowing that you're battling for a championship, and you got guys that doesn't have the kind of experience that of running so fast on these types of tracks.
And there may have been a little bit of contact between Kevin Harvick and James Busher as James gets by Joey Coulter. Now he's going to jump to the outside. Cole Witt's going to pull up in front of him. Kevin Harvick now is side by side with Coulter.
I love looking at those trucks running down the straightaway. Look like vacuum cleaners. The front's all pinned down and the back up in the air. Makes you want to go fast.
But Martinsville last week, those splitters were about 5 inches off the ground with so much horsepower and torque coming off the corners.
It was about the opposite, wasn't it, Phil? The back end was down and the front was up. And here we got them looking all aerodynamic. You see James Busher's really got a fast truck. He can make a move on Cole Witt, but he gets cut off.
Watch this just about a lap and a half ago as they were coming down the front straightaway. Watch Kevin Harvick as he exits the corner.
He's That's the back stretch there. Yeah, and he, right. Golly, comes over and tries to side
make contact.
Harvick moved up the racetrack, got into the 31. Now we see the 31 of Busher in front of Cole Witt. So Busher leading that pack now as he has moved up into the 2nd spot. Cole Witt drops back to 3rd, Harvick 4th, Coulter 5th.
Now we're going to see what 4 tires does against no tires, because James Busher has clean racetrack. Johnny Sauter's pulled out to about a 2nd half lead on him, but James Busher now is coming with those new tires, as well as Kevin Harvick, who's now moving into the 3rd spot.
And we're about to pass the halfway point of this race, so just 1.5 races remaining in the 2011 schedule, and 5 points separate our top 3 in the points championship.
How dramatic has this thing been as this season winds down, though?
We would have never in a million years imagined what took place on lap 13 would happen with one of our 4 title contenders and Ron Hornaday being taken out by Kyle Busch.
It never should have happened. We couldn't imagine it because it shouldn't have happened.
And now the battle continues on the racetrack. Again, out front, it's Johnny Sauter. Had a 1.5 second lead last time by. This time, it's under a second, the difference between the 13 and the 31. So James Busher, the fastest truck the last time by, trying to take away that top spot from Sauter.
Yeah, almost a half a second the last lap. This most recent lap, a good 0.2 of a second, he clipped off that lead.
I believe Busher might have the only truck when the thing gets all settled out that can run with this guy, Kevin Harvick. Harvick's truck's been solid since they said go, as has Busher's. And he's, I think he's got something for Kevin tonight. We know how hard it is to beat Kevin and Kyle when they show up to race. Well, Kyle beat himself tonight, and now Kevin looks like he'll have a chance to win this baby.
Maybe last man standing of that duo.
Look at Joey Coulter. He's driving up all over the back end of the guy that's 1 point behind him, or 4 points behind him in the Rookie of the Year point standings.
That 2.5 gap has been closed. Busher now all over the back bumper of the 13 of Johnny Sauter. So the battle for the lead. Busher's going to take it away from Johnny Sauter, the 2 that are fighting for the championship in 2011, fighting for position on the racetrack here at Texas.
That was a big move for James Busher now to take that lead over.
James Busher back out in front. He's led 37 laps of this race, of the 77 that are complete. It started out as a 4-man battle for the championship, but on lap 13, Hornaday eliminated by Kyle Busch. It's down to 3. Welcome back, Winstar Casino 350K here on Speed, presented by Ram. Out front of the field, it's James Busher. He's now got a 1.5 second lead over Kevin Harvick, who's moved up into the second spot in front of Johnny Sauter, who's in third, Austin Dillon fourth, and Cole Witt in the top 5.
James Busher just adding to his lap lead total here. If he could get that bonus point as well, could loom large.
And what a story it would be. James Busher potentially gets his first ever win in the Camping World Truck Series here in his home state, and would potentially move into the lead for the points race, and didn't compete in one of the races already this year.
Yeah, that's incredible. And right now, this year is gone. None of that would surprise me at all. The big dramatic stage that Texas is for James Busher, getting a win here, I can see that happening.
You know, we talk about bonus points too. James Busher has 8 less bonus points this season coming into this race than Austin Dillon does. Ron Hornaday had the most at 23, but he's out of it.
He's out of it. 46 points back as they're running on the racetrack. Hornaday will be scored 34th in this race, as we have about 10 trucks already off the racetrack and out of this race.
How about that young man in the 21 truck, Ty Dillon? Austin, we've been talking about his younger brother Ty. A great run, went that lap down early for a penalty on the initial start, came back out, unlapped himself, came right back around, back up into the top 10. Now just drove around the outside of Timothy Peters to move into the 7th spot.
He drove around James Busher. Not many people have been able to do that here tonight. He drove around Busher, got his lap back, and now he's battling, trying to get up toward the top 5.
He has a better truck right now than those 2 in front of him. Joey Coulter in the 22, as well as the 60 of Cole Witt.
An amazing experience that this young man is getting, because he's running the full season in 2012. So a lot of experience on racetracks that he's going to be running next year. He already ran Kentucky. He's running here, obviously, at Texas Motor Speedway, where we run 2 races a season.
I'm glad he gave Joey Coulter a little bit of room coming off of 2.
Another great decision he's made. We've seen him make a few of those. Really fun to watch a rookie who's got a good head on his shoulders. Like you say all the time, Phil, those Dillon boys, they've got a lot of coaching, a lot of smart people that work around them, but you can't coach somebody that doesn't have the brains or the talent to go do the job, and these kids can get it done.
Pulled all the way back up to the back of that 22 was Ty Dillon in the 21. Had a pretty good run on him, and now they fall back in line, and we see Joey Coulter now move to the inside, trying to get by that 17 of Timothy Peters.
We got great camera shots here at Texas. It's fun to see the move that Coulter made down the back straightaway. He just shot to the inside of the track to try to get around Peters.
And these trucks look so good at nighttime, too, under the lights here at Texas.
Great facility here. Eddie Gossage, the president of Texas Motor Speedway. Side by side for position, continuing between Joey Coulter and Ty Dillon.
There goes Ty around the outside of Joey.
They've traded that spot around 4 or 5 times the last couple laps. They're all over each other. Ty Dillon was up on the back of Cole Witt just a lap or 2 ago, and then he found himself behind all 4 of them.
Well, when he gave Joey Coulter some room coming off of 2, that gave Timothy Peters the momentum to get by both of them.
Look at the run he's making on Timothy now. Going to look to the inside into 1. You know, with spotters these days, whoa, tough row to hoe down there on the bottom. With spotter these days, if you're the lead truck and somebody looks to the inside, you better assume he's going to go there, because the driver that is trying to make the pass assumes that the guy he's trying to pass knows he's there. You better leave the door open a little bit, especially if they didn't get down to the end of the race. If you maybe try to cut someone off late in the going, but that usually doesn't work out too well.
There goes Joey again around the outside. He got a good run off of turn number 4. He's going to pull around Timothy Peters to the outside.
Running that higher line, trying to get by the 17 of Peters.
These guys are allowing the 6 of Justin Lofton, who slides sideways up off of turn number 2, to catch up.
Closing the gap now is Ty Dillon running the higher line here on the 1.5 miles. Cole Witt just out in front. This 4-truck race that's taking place.
Look at the run. Ty's going to get on the outside of Timothy Peters. Here comes Kevin Harvick. The battle for the lead is shaping up here.
Under 0.3 of a second separating the top 2, and now Kevin Harvick challenging for the lead here at Texas.
How about if you could win your first race, beat Kevin Harvick in your home state, that'd be a big night for James. But man, if you beat Kevin Harvick, you've done a heck of a job. Anywhere, anytime, anyway.
Kevin Harvick takes the lead away from James Busher as they make their way into turns 1 and 2.
How many points? You know, obviously Kevin Harvick is not in contention for any points at all. He had to declare the Cup Series. If he did get points in the Truck Series, how many points do you think he averages per entry in the Truck Series for himself?
Well, and remember, the most you're supposed to get is 43 points, as far as that's the most points they would give, but there are bonuses at the front. So based upon that, I'd say he's probably above 40.
Yeah, I'm going to say 40.
43.
Unbelievable. But the one thing he does get points for, owner's points, and he could wrap up the owner's championship tonight. Kevin Harvick out in front of the field at Texas Motor Speedway. Busher, Dillon, Sauter, and Witt chasing in fifth. Fifth caution has come out. Jack Smith involved in this, as well as the 55 of Jake Crum. A tough night for Jack Smith already.
Yeah, they were battling for the 17th spot.
Jack got a little piece of the incident earlier, but you know, he had that truck up front too, so it's been an up and down night for Jack.
Left side of your screen.
Uh-oh. Jake gets sideways here, and Jack was all over him. He couldn't stay off him, and then Jake carries up the racetrack and squeezes Jack into the outside wall.
Another look coming out of 2.
Hard into the outside wall. And watch coming on here now, Phil. Harvick's
going to go by as they're coming down the racetrack. There's Kevin Harvick going by. They come down, and then James Busher goes up on the high side.
Both checking up to avoid an incident. Pit road will be open. This could be the final stop. They're inside their window. Harvick leading the field onto pit road. Hermie Sadler.
When Johnny Sauter comes to pit road, an animated discussion on the radio about what changes to make to this truck. Joe Shearer finally wins out. They'll do a track bar adjustment, 4 tires, and Sunoco fuel. Johnny Sauter is loose, Ray.
It'll be an interesting decision to see what Austin Dillon does. They went back and forth about 4 or 2. Harvick says 4 for sure. You don't need to make any adjustments, and they know they can make the distance on fuel here. It will be 4 tires on the top of the screen. Looks like the 3 is doing the same thing. Sauter is away at the bottom, and in pit stall number 1, it's James Busher. They go with a track bar adjustment. They'll 4 tires on this Excite Chevrolet, and it looks like the 31 and the 2 are going to race to the line. Kevin Harvick will beat him. Busher is second.
Our clock says the 31 of Busher got out in front of Kevin Harvick. Again, the line is just past where Busher's pit stall is. So very good, tight battle off of pit road. The reason we're under caution, Dick Crum in the 55 sideways. He collects the 63 of Jack Smith. Those 2 trucks out of the race. This month, don't miss the explosive series premiere of Stunt Busters, the new speed series that blows the doors off Hollywood stunt secrets and explores motoring myths, the hottest automotive technology on Earth. Stunt Busters premieres November 15th, 8 Eastern. Back-to-back episodes right here on Speed. You would have had to have been a stunt driver to get through what happened earlier on this racetrack. It was the 33 of Ron Hornaday, the 18 of Kyle Busch, the 33 on the inside. A little contact made there into the wall for both trucks, but it was the retaliation that was the worst.
Yeah, this is just racing here. Both those guys could have avoided that incident. They both just were charging. This isn't racing.
This is Kyle Busch letting his temper get away with him and puts Ron Hornaday hard into the wall. Probably ruins that truck, maybe even ruins his own truck. Takes Ron Hornaday out of the championship hunt. Ron would have had a little bit of damage from the incident in 1 and 2. Kyle, very minimal damage. And now there's Ron Hornaday's truck as they haul it off the racetrack with, again, probably ruined.
Ron Hornaday came in 15 points back, definitely in the championship, as the running on the racetrack now definitely out of the championship on 47 points back. We've been following the social media on Twitter. How about this one? At OD Steve. That is actually Steve O'Donnell, who is the senior vice president of racing operations, very prevalent on Twitter and prominent. He said, we're in the middle of a race. As we always do, we penalize for event and then evaluate. And so, of course, the 18 of Kyle Busch has been parked. He will not come back out on the racetrack, and they have also said that he and crew chief Eric Phillips. It's Kyle Busch and Eric Phillips will have to meet with the NASCAR officials at the conclusion of this race. That happened on lap 13. that was a lot of laps to go, but what an amazing turn of events.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. As race car drivers, it's an emotional game. You know, you're right on the edge of the chip anyway, and you just hope that you get a chance to catch your breath before you get an opportunity to do something like Kyle did, and he just couldn't control his emotions.
And most of the time, cooler heads do prevail.
That's
I mean,
right.
you're mad, and you know, we saw it last week at Martinsville. Most of it happened after the race was over, probably uncalled for as well, but that was running 20, 30 miles an hour too after the race was over. There's no sense using trucks to settle scores.
And the pace truck will make its way off the racetrack. That puts James Buescher and Kevin Harvick on the front row. Buescher leading this one, gets back in the gas, green flag back in the air. 44 laps of racing to go from Texas Motor Speedway.
Here comes Johnny Sauter. He's getting his way up toward the front.
3 contenders for the championship running in the top 4 right now, chasing after Kevin Harvick.
They need to keep their eyes on each other, Phil, and I think they can do that right now.
Right where they are. Right. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick's going to keep his eyes on them in the mirror.
Kevin Harvick just in front of James Buescher. Buescher down at the bottom of the racetrack, all over the back bumper. Now it's Johnny Sauter. And Cole Witt has been able to pass the 3 of Austin Dillon. So Witt takes over the 3rd spot or 4th spot. Austin Dillon goes back to 5th.
Yeah, Ty Dillon, Austin's brother, in the battle for the 6th spot right now with Timothy Peters.
Looked like Ty made another decision there to make sure that his brother had plenty of room exiting the corner. That's got to feel really cool for the kid brother to have a chance to race with Big Brother, knowing Big Brother's racing for a championship. He's doing a great job. He drove around James Buescher, our leader, earlier, unlapped himself the old-fashioned way, and now he's battling up there in the top 10.
And be able to give him a break every now and then.
Ray, he's had a great start to this race. How are they doing?
Learning a lot, Rick, and that's what's fun to listen to him on the radio as he talks to his crew chief, Flash Nassett. The entire team that he raced with in the ARCA series presented by Menards will come with him to the trucks next year as Ty goes full time. But he said with this particular truck, the longer it goes, it gets really, really loose. And he's surprised how much it changes from pretty neutral to about a 6.5 on the loose scale late in the run.
You know, I want my crew chief to be named Flash Nassett.
Flash is a pretty good name if you're in racing.
Sounds like a great crew chief. Won a championship.
Absolutely. I tell you, these guys are running fast laps right now. Right now, 4 of our top 8 drivers ran their fastest lap of the race that last lap.
Kevin Harvick broke under the 32nd mark the last time by 29.716. That was his fastest lap.
Did you see Ricky Carmichael almost getting to the left rear corner of Miguel Paludo as they enter turn 3? Ricky had to get out of the gas. Probably even got on the brakes there to avoid hitting Miguel.
Going to allow Todd Bodine, because of that break in momentum, to get by Ricky on the outside. Now Todd's going after the 7 of Miguel Paludo.
That's for the 12th spot. They're running on the racetrack, and Lofton has 11th, Miguel Paludo in 12th. And now Todd Bodine has taken away that 12th spot in front of Paludo. Goes to the high side trying to get by Justin Lofton.
Todd and his crew, led by Mike Hellman Jr., made some pretty significant adjustments on this most recent pit stop. They were under the back of the truck for an extended period of time, maybe working on a shock adjustment or maybe moving the track bar. You can adjust the track bar from the top side on the right side, but you can't do anything to the left unless you're under the truck or inside the wheel well.
We know how those guys like to tune on that baby during the course of the race. Maybe change some shock settings, like you said, spring rubbers here or there. But it looked like they had some pretty big wrenches under the back of that 5 truck. Probably a track bar change.
Timothy Peters has 7th, just in front of the threesome of Joey Coulter, Matt Crafton, and Nelson Piquet Jr., who's moving up on the outside.
Nelson is really fast on the bigger tracks. Talking to him about his truck here, he said, I like the big tracks. The little ones, I still don't have that one figured out yet. Struggles on the shorter tracks, but thinks he's really got a good hold of this super speedway racing.
He gains on it time after time. Here goes Austin Dillon around Johnny Sauter in a battle for 3rd.
Clear. That's what I'm talking about. Keep it up, bud.
That's what Andy Houston's talking about.
Andy Houston, the spotter for Austin Dillon, talking to him on the radio.
Remember, Michael, last time we had pit stops before this most recent time, a lot of differing pit strategies. That time it looked like everybody with 4 tires trying to get ready for the end.
You know, Harvick leads our race. If he could lead 35 more laps, that means that James Busher can't then lead the most laps. So Harvick needs to be out front, and Busher doesn't need him to be.
I think that's probably Harvick's plan, don't you?
I think he's going to try to lead them all.
And his philosophy probably changed a bit on lap 13 because he was here to help his truck, the 33 of Ron Hornaday. Well, there is an association, obviously, with Richard Childress Racing and Kevin Harvick. So now his idea might be to switch over and try to help Austin Dillon any way he can to win this championship.
Well, and the biggest way he can help right now is stay in front of that 31 truck of James Busher. Now, if Austin Dillon gets in front of the 31 of James Busher, that might be a different story.
I can't imagine Harvick, though, letting Austin win the race. I don't see that happening, but you're right, Phil. Right now, what Kevin Harvick likes doing the most is helping Austin Dillon the most.
On the radio, we're hearing the 23 of Jason White talking about maybe having a tire going down.
Jason's running in the 16th spot. I think he was at Vegas and had a tire going down, didn't get to pit road in time and had a crash. So if he's got a flat tire, Ray, he better get to pit road. These speeds are fast.
And Michael, just a little while ago, Jason had been on the radio before that last pit stop and said, I've got a bad vibration in the right front. They checked the tires over, and the crew chief told him, I think it was just that set, but it may be a problem inside the steering components on the right front, is what Jason is saying on the radio right now.
That side was all good right there.
May not just be a flat tire, may be another problem.
Just 34 laps remaining in this 147-lap race. Now 33 to go. Kevin Harvick out in front. Harvick has led 27 laps. Busher has led the most at 55 laps. Busher running second. This month, unexpected motorists will get ambushed at the pump and given the chance to win cold, hard cash. Don't miss the series premiere of Pumps, November 17th, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Speed.
Here comes Austin.
James Busher trying to hold on to that second spot, but Austin Dillon making the move on the inside is going to take away second from James Busher. And not so fast is what James Busher is saying as he goes back by on the outside.
It's a big moment right here. This is a big swing. 2-point swing with this pass right here if Austin Dillon can pull it off.
Yeah, and he's been the fastest truck consistently the last few laps. Phil, he's actually outrun Harvick in catching James Busher, but now that he's gotten there, can't make the move.
You know, part of that is the draft is very, very important here with these trucks, Michael. With speeds upwards of 185 miles an hour on the straightaway, these guys really feel the effects of the draft, and it'll really pick that truck up behind and let them get a good tow towards the truck in front of them.
And then when they get side by side, you feel like you're pulling a boat behind your truck. You just stall right out. Takes away all your momentum.
Two trucks getting by the 10 of Jennifer Jo Cobb. Again, these two racing for not only position on the racetrack, but for a champion. How about the two younger drivers back behind him, Joey Coulter and the 21 of Ty Dillon.
Ty Dillon right now trying to take over that 5th spot from Joey Coulter. Looks like he has it for a moment. Ty's been running the high side for most of this race.
Yeah, he enters real high, too. We see some trucks go in a little low and then move up to the middle. He comes into the corner high. I like how he's trying to look around and see what it's going to take to make that truck handle the way he wants it to. He's obviously figured it out, driven into the top 5.
In that conversation that they had yesterday with the 4 drivers I spoke of earlier, Ty Dillon kept talking about how loose the truck would get anytime he was around any other truck. He said it's amazing how the truck sticks to the racetrack when I'm on my own, but if I get someone in front of me or behind me, my truck goes amazingly loose. James Busher still in front of the 3 of Austin Dillon. That's for the 2nd spot on the racetrack. Kevin Harvick has a 1.6 second lead over Busher right now.
What Ty's talking about is just a product of the dirty air. These trucks have so much downforce on them that they rely on that clean air to get that downforce. When you get another truck around them disturbing the air, it robs that truck of the downforce, and that's when they get loose.
We've had the 3 most different tracks you could possibly compete on lately. We're at Martinsville. Yeah, excuse me, 3. We were at Martinsville where aero doesn't matter at all, and you're just trying to grip your way around and run into people. We're at Talladega where you tie these trucks together and they go 10 miles an hour faster than everybody else. And then you get here, you don't want a truck near you because it messes up your handling. And that's why these guys are so good. They have to deal with such diverse conditions every week in order to be successful.
Ray, what is the 3 dealing with right now behind the 31?
Getting a little bit tight, Rick. And, you know, Michael Shelton made an adjustment on lap 99. He went up on the track bar and also an air pressure adjustment on the right side to try to loosen that truck up a little bit. But James says it just gets tight. And you see him trying different lines on the racetrack to see if that makes his truck any better. He's well aware that the 3's back there, but right now they'd love to have another adjustment. But guess what? I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, only 22 laps remaining in this race.
And this is a big race right now. This is a big part of the race for James Busher. Right? He's got to keep him behind him. He's racing his rear end off right now to keep that spot. Austin looked like he was going to just catch him and pass him. James dealt with that.
James coming in was 11 points back from Austin Dillon. Now 9 points back. A little bobble there by the 13 of Johnny Sauter.
You see Johnny right now points as they run 17 behind. If he loses these spots, and these trucks have caught him. Cole Witt passed him just a couple laps ago. Now Ty Dillon and Joey Coulter and these other trucks passed him. Each one of those spots is one more point, putting him a little bit farther behind.
One more position. Hermie Sadler.
Hey guys, I want to give a update here on Timothy Peters. He was kind of on the outside looking in this championship battle. Had a really fast truck and a decent run going. Now he is falling back to the 9th position. He is reporting on the radio that something seemed to be amiss under the hood. Maybe a valve spring, maybe dropping a valve in the 17. So we'll see if he's able to nurse that truck home and finish this race. But a good run going a little bit south for Timothy Peters.
Timothy in the 17. We're still watching the battle for second here. Austin Dillon to the bottom of the racetrack trying to take the spot away from James Busher. Busher's been strong on the outside, though, as these two continue to battle lap after lap for second.
When these guys line up nose to tail, they don't lose any ground to Kevin Harvick at all. When they get side by side like this, that allows Kevin to creep a little farther ahead.
And James is going to have to start making some decisions. You can see him trying to crowd down there and keep the air on Austin Dillon, knowing that that will free Austin up. But you're taking a chance when you do that to Austin. He gets a little loose under you. You could get run into and crashed into the wall. So James has got to think about what he's doing right here. He knows how important. You can see there. He knows how important it is to hold this spot.
They go by Rick Crawford, veteran of the Camping World Truck Series, driving that 73 tonight. Here's Timothy Peters looking at the inside of that 13 in another very important position on the racetrack and another point that Johnny Sauter is going to lose in this championship run.
Yeah, I think Johnny Sauter has lost the handle on that truck. Looks like it's really, really loose. He's going to lose some more spots before it's all said and done. Here's his teammate Kraft in the yellow number 88, as well as the 5 of Top 09 coming at him.
17 laps of racing remain here at Texas Motor Speedway. Kevin Harvick, he's led 43 laps of the 147 scheduled for this one. We've got 17 left. The Speed Dream Ride is coming back, and this year it's hotter than ever. Soon you can enter to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience at California's Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. Speed Dream Ride starts Thanksgiving weekend. Get a sneak peek at speeddreamride.com.
Some hard racing here, Phil.
There it is, 1 and 2 in points right there, battling for the second spot here. They've fallen about 3 seconds behind Kevin Harvick.
They run side by side for that position. Harvick, you see, just goes out of your screen. And now the 31 of Busher and Austin Dillon, second and third.
Phil said during break, I wouldn't be surprised to see these two get together. I would be surprised to see it, but I don't doubt that it might happen. They're racing just like that could happen.
They're racing very hard on this racetrack, and there's a reason to race hard. They've got a championship they're racing for, and just 12 laps of racing to go. Busher's still looking for his first ever win in the Camping World Truck Series.
And I love that they're racing hard for this position right now. Austin Dillon wants that spot. That's a 2-point swing right now. That's his closest pursuer right in front of him.
And James Busher has led the most laps at 55 laps, but if Harvick continues to lead and wins this race, Harvick will have the most laps led, so he will take that point away from Busher. How about team orders for Thor Sport Racing? Johnny Sauter still well in this championship hunt, although he's 21 points back. Does he lose a spot because his teammate passes him?
We saw that happen before. Sure did. Over at Atlanta, Ryan Newman drove around Ron Hornaday late in the going.
And Hornaday lost the championship that year. This battle continues.
10 to go, bud. 10 to go this time by.
He's been on defense for about 15 laps. He only needs to hold him back there 10 more.
Remember, this is the longest run they will have run this entire race. If they run this thing till the end of the race, that'll be just about a full run on fuel and tires.
We heard Austin have to get out of the gas as he was coming out of the turn. That allowed James Busher to hold that spot running the higher line.
James has just used that higher road to hold Austin off. Had to squeeze him down a couple times, and Austin couldn't take a chance on putting his truck in a bind.
Kevin Harvick in front of these two by 3.2 seconds. Then it's Busher, Austin Dillon running for that second spot. Witt back in fourth with a very good run for him tonight. Ty Dillon, a top 5 run for that young man.
These guys have to get single file. They had a couple lap trucks that they were going to go by.
What an impressive run for Ty Dillon, as you said, Rick. He's just done a great job. Avoided a lot of possible dangerous situations he could have gotten himself into. Made a mistake. Passed before the start-finish line would have started and had to make a pit stop. Drove around the leader, James Busher, at the time, made that lap up. So what a night for that young man.
And that's what his brother's trying to do right now, drive around James Busher to grab that second spot.
James Busher continuing to run up in that second line. Austin Dillon right on the bottom of the racetrack, but chases the truck up as they come out of the turns.
This is good stuff here. Battling for a championship, battling on the racetrack at 180 miles an hour. Late in the going.
Just 7 laps remaining here in this, the 24th race of the 2011 season.
It's a big deal for Busher to hold that spot. He's driving like it is. Now, I don't know that it's that big of a deal. I mean, it could be a huge deal, obviously, at the end of the race in Miami.
Caution is going to come out. David Starr, smoke coming out of the back of that truck. Oh my goodness. We're going to get catch your breath.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be a sprint to the finish.
We sure do have some fun truck races.
They want you on the apron.
Remember that 4-second lead that Kevin Harvick had?
That's gone.
Gone.
James Busher, depending upon where Kevin decides, but James Busher will either start on the inside or the outside of Kevin Harvick, looking for his first ever win in the Camping World Truck Series.
I think Harvick starts on the inside, Phil, because
so we can put Austin Dillon behind him, maybe a friendly face behind him, maybe
get a push off Austin, and you're going to run that first turn after these tires cool down a little bit. I think they'll go right through there wide open. So look at there.
A tough break for David Starr. You know how much he enjoys running this racetrack. He's had a lot of success at this racetrack, a lot of good top 5 finishes. But unfortunately, looks like it's going to be
down here, Bob.
Yeah.
David, a native of Houston, Texas. Ran numerous laps in the driving school here over and over as an instructor, and then raced many times here on the 1.5 miles. We'll be back for the green flag after this. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on speed by Ram. Designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram. Brought to you in part by Las Vegas Motor Speedway. NASCAR returns to Las Vegas. Get your tickets today at lvms.com by calling 1-800-644-4444. And by Camping World at the Good Sam RV Club. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, roadside assistance, and more. Racing under the lights at Texas Motor Speedway.
There's your Aaron's lucky dog, 39 Ryan Sieg. That's his second lucky dog in a row. He's a double lucky dog.
That'll give us 18 trucks on the lead lap for this shootout.
Hermie Sadler.
Yeah, Rick, we've been talking a lot about the 31 of James Busher and the 3 of Austin Dillon, but Johnny Sauter is also trying to hold on to his championship hope as well. He is currently on P8 on the racetrack, and he has had a conversation with Joe Scheer about this restart. He has asked them to ask his teammate Matt Crafton to try to help him a little bit on this restart, to not race him in a bad spot, to put him in a compromising position. So we'll see if the 88 helps the teammate, and we'll see if Johnny Sauter is able to have a good restart and salvage a few points. Ray?
The radio just came on from Austin Dillon, and he said, where did the 31 go? We all looked up real quick and noticed James Busher wasn't there. Apparently the 31 is out of fuel. He is coasting. And that is going to make major implications in this championship chase.
Huge implications as they're running on the track now. 27 points separate Austin Dillon and James Busher. This will drop Busher all the way back to the 18th spot on the
that's
racetrack.
assuming he can get it started, Phil. You know how hard these things are to get started. He can spend a couple of laps on pit road trying to get it started.
Up, you get about $4 grand and hold it.
Yeah, they're still there. Not going green this time. If he can look how fast the points change. He was 9 points behind 30 seconds ago, and now he's being shown 27 points behind. He could get some of those back if he gets it refired quick enough and gets back out there.
How interesting is this restart going to be with Kevin Harvick and Austin Dillon now on the front row?
Look at some of the other trucks now on the bottom of the racetrack trying to make sure that they keep fuel in the pickups. The pickups are over in the right rear corner. The centrifugal force of the fuel coming down into the left corner of the fuel cell will allow these things to run out of gas, just like James Busher did.
Got fuel pressure? Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Remember, he's down at the far end of pit road.
Quarter bunch, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Those things make sure he has fuel pressure. We heard him say that.
And he didn't have it, see? They wanted him to go, he didn't have it.
He's plugged back up.
And he's going to lose a lap. He just lost a lap.
And most likely a championship chance too, Phil.
He's out. He's out now. He would have to have something major happen to Austin Dillon next time at home. So, well, this race isn't over either.
And Johnny Sauter.
Yeah, but these guys are piled right up at the front.
Yeah.
Desperate to win a race.
You ain't get no fuel pressure. No fuel pressure. We got a cable broke or something.
Take a look back here at Cole Witt on the down at the bottom of the racetrack. Ty Dillon up top. Ty Dillon and Cole Witt, a little contact there. They're just trying to clean their tires.
Yeah, clean their tires and shake the fuel around, make sure they don't run out of gas, and just got together.
Ray, how about Austin Dillon? How's he doing?
Well, worried about fuel here, Rick, and Danny Stockman had told him earlier, save us a little bit. Remember, they pitted last time on 99. The 31 ran out. Chevrolet, everybody out there saying, can we make it to the end? We hope so.
It's a different engine builder now. That's a Hendrick Motorsports engine in that 31 truck. ECR in the 3 truck as well as the 2 truck of Kevin Harvick.
Miguel Pluto, he's in the 10th spot. He had elected to run down on the apron to try to keep fuel up in his pickup.
This is going to be the first attempt at a green-white checker finish of this race. So side by side, Harvick on the inside, Dillon on the outside, green flag back in the air. Cole Witt's going to run out of fuel once they go into turn number 1. A smart move by Cole Witt, ducking to the bottom of the racetrack, getting out of the way of the trucks on the track. Side by side for the lead. Dillon running on the high side, trying to take it away from Kevin Harvick.
Now is when Kevin Harvick can help Austin Dillon, but I think now, knowing that 31 run out of gas, I think Kevin Harvick wants this win.
Look who's coming up behind his brother.
Ty Dillon runs into the top 3 now as he makes the move, and he's right behind his brother.
Look at Matt Crafton, first time he's been in the top 5 this race.
1 lap to go. The white flag came out in front. Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon, Ty Dillon, Matt Crafton, and Johnny Sauter, your top 5.
Johnny Sauter needs that point that Matt Crafton has over him. If he could get around Crafton, that would help his championship chances. But here comes Nelson Piquet Jr. to the bottom.
Nelson Piquet Jr. is going to take a couple spots away from Johnny Sauter as he continues to drop back.
Matt Crafton needs to back off right now, but here comes Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick. He's going to win his 13th Camping World Truck Series race.
Good job, boys.
Kevin Harvick leads the most laps at 61, wins the race. Austin Dillon comes home second. And more importantly, a 20-point cushion over Johnny Sauter in the championship run.
Remember, we talked at the very top of the show, you talked about the experience of Hornaday. Said Austin Dillon, you throw out that blemish at Las Vegas, his average finish the last 7 races, 3rd.
He bettered it a little bit.
I think you mentioned something about an average point gain by Kevin Harvick in the races he ran. I think it's going to go up tonight, and it was already over 43 points. Yeah. Unbelievable run for Kevin Harvick, a great race. Early on in this race, we were listening into Kevin Harvick's radio, extremely frustrated with what took place on the racetrack after lap 13 between his truck, the 33 of Hornaday, and the 18 of Kyle Busch.
He wins a manufacturer's championship, or excuse me, an owner's championship in that Chevy tonight. So, Ray, big night for Kevin. It's going to be an interesting victory lane conversation, I promise you that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Mikey, but we want to hear from the crew chief. How about an interesting couple of weeks? A fill-in crew chief to get a win at Talladega with Mike Wallace, and another one tonight. Congratulations, Chris.
Thanks, Ray. It's really rewarding anytime you go to victory lane. I can't say enough about the people within KHI. It's no secret, it's coming to an end. It's winding down, and I'm sure it's kind of very bittersweet for Kevin and Delana. They've, between them and a lot of people in the past, have built an awesome company that's won a lot of races and have done a lot of great things. A lot of people before me have done a lot. Hunt Brothers Pizza, Chevrolet. I just feel really bad for Ron Hornaday. Man, he deserved to be competing for this championship and got took out by, looked like a cheap shot.
All right, we got to go, Chris. Go to Hermie real quick. Congratulations.
Well, we got Austin Dillon. That was a lot of fun. You're up 20 points now on the second place competitor, 28 on Busher. Tell us about that final restart.
Yeah, I spun the tires getting going, but I had my brother behind me help me out. Little fart's good. He's doing a good job out there. I was hoping he could push me down the back stretch. Had to clear Harvick, but I got off in there, got a little loose on the right front, had to turn back under Harv. Heck, I had to run at him at the end, but our truck was really good. James raced me so hard there, but it was a good racing. You don't wish bad luck on anybody. That was bad luck. He had a good truck tonight, and he didn't deserve to finish there, but it happens sometimes that way, and I got to thank my team for putting me in the position they did, and we raced hard all night. It was up and down at the beginning, and we got her tuned in and ran pretty good, so I'm happy for Bass Pro Shops. Chevrolet was good tonight.
And talk about you guys, you and Busher, championship contenders. You guys ran side by side for about 25 laps. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was hard. I didn't want to wreck us both. I mean, it was a few times there I was thinking about it, but we raced so hard there. He's just racing hard for that points deal, so can't blame him for that. I would do the same thing.
That's Austin Dillon. He comes home second. Ray?
Well, we're in victory lane. Kevin Harvick has just pulled in here with the Hunt Brothers Pizza Chevrolet, getting the helmet off, and what an interesting night for KHI. No question about it. After talking to Chris Carrier, we got one race left to go for this organization. Kevin Harvick will jump out. Go ahead, Kev. Come on out. Come on out. A Budweiser in hand, and another victory here. Brand new chassis, truck number 61, just came off the jig, and it's in victory lane. Hard to sum up that night, Kevin. An interesting, I guess my first question is, you weren't entered in this race. Why are you here?
Well, we just, we've had a lot of momentum in the two truck and with where the Owners Championship was, and everything that was going on. Just wanted to, hopefully be in it when we were able to clinch the championship, being that we're getting out of it. So just want to say hi to Delana. She's at home. Just want to thank everybody from Hunt Brothers, Ream, One Main, Budweiser, Chevrolet, Champion, everybody who's a part of this program, been a part of this program for a long time, and all these guys for everything that they do. This brand new truck, never took it to the wind tunnel. It was looser than I wanted to drive, though.
I know you've definitely seen what happened between the 18 and the 33. I know you were hoping to be able to get Ron Hornaday another championship before the end of KHI. So I guess my thoughts are, what about your thoughts on Kyle?
Well, I mean, it's just I'm watching the video, and they're going around a lap car and racing, and, I think Kyle definitely showed his immaturity and why he's, just one of those guys that's just can't stand to lose and just a poor loser. So it's unfortunate for Ron. It's too bad that, a guy that's over here trying to win races got in the middle of the championship fight, and at some point he'll feel the pain.
We're going to see you in Homestead?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll be in Homestead. Just got to thank everybody from Hunt Brothers, and we'll have fun with it.
Okay. Kevin Harvick in victory lane here, the two truck, celebrating another win.
And there's Ron Hornaday walking in and obviously congratulating his owner, but they're going to talk a lot about what happened earlier in this race. Again, on lap 13, when Ron Hornaday was taken out of the championship race.
I think all of NASCAR will be talking about what happened on lap number 13.
But the celebration will continue for KHI, grabbing another win. It's the 13th for Kevin Harvick in his 116th start. Glory from Texas Motor Speedway. Definitely Kevin Harvick. What an unbelievable situation he's put into. Has to see his title contender and Ron Hornaday get taken out and then continue to battle for the race win.
Well, he's a racer. He's a racer, and he had to put that aside. He knew he had an owner's championship to win, and that's a Ram guts and glory right there, Kevin Harvick.
That is probably the best example of guts and glory you'll ever see. Took a lot of guts to put that behind him, focus on that truck, and win a race, and that's exactly what Kevin Harvick did.
Ram, guts, and glory. And right now it's the glory in victory lane here at Texas Motor Speedway. Take a look at our unofficial point standings. A huge hit for James Busher as he ran out of gas just before the restart. So he drops back. He's 28 points back. Johnny Sauter 20 points back in second. That means Austin Dillon has to finish where, Phil?
16th. If he finishes 16th, no matter what Johnny Sauter does, he will clinch the championship. What a different picture than how we started this race in the point standings.
And what an amazing run for Austin Dillon's younger brother, Ty Dillon. A third place finish in just his second ever Camping World Truck Series start, and he's standing by with Hermie.
Well, Ty Dillon, getting congratulations from everybody here on pit road, especially Pawpaw. He came out here and gave you a thumbs up. Congratulations on a great run, third place finish.
Thanks, sir. I made a rookie mistake at the beginning there and pulled down a little too early. And this truck was fast enough where I was able to actually pass back for the lead there to get back on the lead lap. I can't thank Kane Food Industries and Sherwin-Williams for helping us out so we could come here, and Chevrolet. So just really excited for my guys and to go out here and prove that we can do it. And just really excited for next year and got a lot of those rookie mistakes out of the way, hopefully.
You talk about racing with your brother, Austin Dillon. You both had fast trucks on the racetrack. Racing with him as he's trying to win a championship. Tell us about those moments.
Yeah, it was fun. I was really wanting to push him to the lead, but I lost my front end getting so close behind him. But finished right behind Austin is pretty cool. I wanted to pass him, but he's got some bigger things coming. So really excited for his guys and had a lot of fun tonight.
That's Ty Dillon. He comes home third.
You talked about that Austin needed to finish 16th at Miami, and it's over. He finished 17th at Vegas a couple of weeks ago because of the early crash. So it ain't over. He's going to be worried to death getting down to Miami, and just getting in that truck for the race will be the first time he probably has a little bit of feels like he's in control again.
What a Chevy parade, though. We had the top 8 finishers all in Chevrolets. Miguel Paludo, the only non-Chevrolet finisher in the top 10. He finishes 9th.
These racers get a week off. Phoenix is next week. The trucks aren't there. They end up the season at Homestead Miami Speedway. Kyle Busch won that race a year ago. More than likely wouldn't be in that race. I can't imagine what's going to happen with NASCAR in the meeting that's going to be taking place here momentarily. We will give you the updates on what comes out of this situation. You just have to check it out on Speed.
You talked about these guys have a week off. Austin Dillon doesn't want a week off. I'm a race away from winning a championship. Let's have that baby.
Speed Center will give you all the information on what comes out of this incident with Ron Hornaday and Kyle Busch. Quite a few incidents on the racetrack. A great points battle. 20 points back. Johnny Sauter with one race remaining. But this one was won by Kevin Harvick at Texas Motor Speedway.
In 2 weeks, one of the tightest points battles in years comes to an end as the Camping World Truck Series heads to Homestead for its season finale. Dillon, Buscher, Sauter, and Hornaday have battled all season long, but in the end, there can only be one champion. Who will claim 2011 as their own? Chris DeVota hosts the setup starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.